Hi, everyone. I'm Reverend Nikki Happy, the Director of Marketing and Engagement at One Spirit, and I am sitting here today with Karen Frances McCarthy. How are you?
Good, thank you. It's nice to meet you and be here.
You too. And so we're here to discuss your upcoming workshop. And before we do that, I'd love to hear a little bit about who you are and the work that you do.
Oh yeah, so I'm a published author. I also work as a medium and a healer and a teacher. I was a former political journalist. I was a war correspondent and a diehard skeptic, and came into this world of sort of healing and mediumship and sort of sacredness about 10 years ago after my fiance died very, very suddenly. And then all sorts of odd phenomena started happening around me that sort of prompted this eventual realization that there was something far greater than us, and that there was a continuity and a consciousness that we were all part of that was far greater than us, but that really we are all part of, and it is part of all of us too. But it started me off on this great journey, which was really interesting, of trying to understand what exactly the nature of consciousness was, what was the nature of continuity, what was the nature of how we can become attuned and become more connected to that sort of source of the one. I spent 4 years then training at the Arthur Findlay College in England in mediumship and spiritual healing and public speaking there. Started studying sort of spiritual counseling, bereavement counseling, just to really understand and to be able to be helpful, and in a helpful and a responsible way for people. So I do a lot of work now teaching what I've been very, very fortunate to learn. I do private sessions, I do different mentorships, and I write quite a bit about this now as well. Like I've written my last book, Till Death Don't Us Part, just sort of on that sort of voyage of discovery to really help inspire people to see it's all very accessible and very tangible. It's partly why I designed this course as well, to really make a lot of this more esoteric knowledge accessible, but also experiential. So it's not just a heady sort of theoretical understanding. It's something that you're sort of given the tools, given the avenues, and given the learning to be able to actually experience these sacred states as well.
Yes. And so walk us through what the format will be for this workshop.
The overarching hope I have in this workshop when I was putting it together is to really talk to people about a lot of these states, about the sort of the nature of these other questions, these there's other ways of looking at reality and understanding our place in it. And we'll focus each week on a different aspect of this. What I really want is for people to sort of teach every people and to lead them into states of attunement, into those sort of sacred states where you can actually feel that very, very real and tangible connection to the power, to the divine, whatever particular name you want. You can actually tangibly feel that connection. And then with that connection and with sort of the power and the energy that brings, so each week we'll look at different ways to be able to access that, sit with it, embody that, and then use it, to tap into that, to use it to manifest something. So in the first week, we'll focus on healing. We'll focus on healing for the self and being able to send healing to others using the sacred state of attunement. And then the second week, we'll work on writing. What I would like to be able to do is to help people access that using the pen, to be able to sort of take the wisdom that comes to them. And I know this as a writer, people go, oh, I haven't had something really clever to say before I put a word down. And this is the opposite of that. This is really something that's about just sort of surrendering to the flow. And I've had some of my writing students have come out and they said they're never writing another word if they're not in a state of attunement. So we'll experiment with that. So it's very experiential. It's very experimental. We'll work with speaking. A lot of people just want to be able to communicate well, whether that's just to a small group, to one person, or to entire churches or stadiums, is to be able to tap that inspiration and to be able to access that wisdom and then be able to share that. It's very, very powerful. And then the fourth week, what I'm going to do is sort of work with the ancestors, working for people who are interested in getting a sense of the presence of others, of loved ones around them, of the ancestors around them, of their own guides around them, and being able to sort of communicate with them in a more direct way, or understand the language of the spirit really, so that you can actually take that forward, you sort of incorporate that into your life and live with it going forward. So each week will be a bit of talk, a bit of education, but then, at the beginning, we'll sit for attunement. Attunement is very important. aspect of this work, and I have recordings that then they can listen to themselves each day during the week if they want, just to sort of build up that power, that capacity. And then each week we'll also have these sort of little experimental exercises and experiential exercises, because you really have to experience these states, because that's what creates the epiphany.
Right. And so what do you want the takeaway to be for participants?
I would love people, first of all, to really understand the simplicity and the power of having meditative or sitting in the power, it's called in the spiritual circles, or, sort of being able to sit and access that state of attunement. If nothing else, I would love people just to be able to feel that, because that's something you can live out daily in your life, in all aspects of your life. And then I would hope that from the experiential aspects of the class, that people can find a renewed or just an increased level of inspiration in their communication, whether that's speaking or writing or just dealing with other people. And also this ability really to be able to find self-care and self-healing in these states as well. But I would just ask people, the more open-minded you can be, the more self-reflective you can be, the more you're willing to sort of surrender the ego to experience this connection with the divine, the more power, the more wisdom, the more healing and inspiration you'll get out of the course. So come with an open mind, the willingness to experience. It's a very safe environment and lots of opportunities to really experiment with new ways of being and thinking and seeing the world.